NBA basketball totals for Sunday, January 29th. This is a segment where we look at NBA basketball totals and we try to beat the odds makers lines that they set on the totals, either going over or under what they set. We also have our NCAA segment out there as well. That one's going particularly well this season, so you definitely want to check that one out. NBA, not so much. Winning percentage, winning record, I should say, but really not much profit in the NBA, so far. Fortunately, we're not the All-Star break yet. We got a long ways to go. Normally, this segment here, we do it live during the week about 4 o'clock Eastern. My schedule's a little bit weird this week, so that time might not be accurate. We'll be sure to, I'll be sure to try and let you guys know well in advance of what time we will be doing that live, but we're going to try and do that live every day this week. But again, my schedule's a little bit weird this week. The following week, though, we're right back on track. I look for every day, most likely the rest of the NBA season, barring something strange, for us to really stay on schedule with that live segment. That's been really fun. I really appreciate you guys out there with all your feedback. It's been absolutely fantastic. If you've not seen that live segment, you've got to tune in. Shoot me a message. I'll get back to you. Great give and take, and we can try and together go ahead and make a profit. So it's been fantastic. Please be sure to tune into that. All right. Again, SBRpicks.com. You've got to tune into that. You've got to check that out. We got the best handicappers out there, best, especially for free. I mean, I was going to say the best free handicappers, but we just have solid handicappers across the board in multiple sports at Sportsbook Review. So be sure to check that out. SBRpicks.com, Sportsbook Review. All the sportsbooks are there. We got all the lines are there, sign-up bonuses, blacklist, things you got to check out. Let's get to some totals. Just 2 games on our card today. Let's go ahead and let's start breaking these down. All right, first one up we got in the NBA today, Sunday, and I'll have my record updated for you guys on the live segment or sometime within the next week. NCAA, that record's going to be up on the YouTube channel. All right, first one we got is Washington and New Orleans. Oddsmakers had this at 218. And I thought, wow, that is really high. And then I started breaking down some numbers, and I'm going over. First of all, the trend that we've been looking at a lot over the last few weeks, if you have been watching, is what odds makers have been setting in proportion to what we've seen historically. Now, all the way back, I have lines from between New Orleans and Washington. Of course, they're in different divisions. New Orleans in the West, Washington in the East. But back all the way to 2004, I got totals. And they've never had a total set this high. The last total they had was last February, where they had a total of 217.5. And they kind of have the same dynamic, except Scott Brooks is at Washington right now, so they go a little bit quicker. Washington's playing great ball. Good win for New Orleans the other night versus San Antonio. This could be a great ball game. And I'm going to go and take over this total. I think they get up and down. Now, on that last game they had last year, although it was 217.5, they only ended up with a 109-89 final in which Washington won at home. But I like for this one to really get up and down. And when we start breaking these two teams down even more, I mean, they both could score. Now, New Orleans under Alvin Gentry, surprisingly, they have really focused on the defensive end, but they could still score and they still push some tempo. Right now, you got Washington averaging 106.7 points per game, and I really like their tempo, averaging 86 attempts per game. That ranks better than half of the NBA teams. New Orleans right along with them. Right now, they're averaging, and see, this is what we want to see from Alvin Gentry, 87.7. I'm going a little bit fast. 87.7 attempts per game. That ranks second in the NBA. That's what we want to see from New Orleans. That's more like it. And surprisingly, they've stepped things up, like I said, on the defensive end. I'll talk about that in 1 second. New Orleans are averaging 103.7 points per game. They're allowing 106.2. That's actually pretty good for them, considering how much they allowed last year. Washington still defensively not that great, allowing 105.3 points per game. And their statistics defensively are not great. New Orleans is going to score, and they're going to score a lot. They're not a super efficient team, but they do average 26.7 three-point attempts per game, and they make 9.6 of those. Both of those stats rank 12th in the NBA. I think they're finally healthy. Look for New Orleans. They might be pretty hot here these next couple months. You want to keep an eye. Keep an eye on the Pelicans. Washington defensively, statistically not very good. They're allowing opponents to shoot 46% from the field. That ranks in the bottom third of the NBA. New Orleans much better. They're 8th in opponent shooting efficiency. And they're 4th right now in opponent overall shooting percentage. Fantastic, 44.4%. However, they do allow a ton of tempo. Washington's playing extremely good basketball right now. New Orleans allows 89.7 attempts per game. That ranks third to last in the NBA. And they allow 39.8 field goals made per game. That ranks 23rd. So look for Washington to score, New Orleans to score. Two talented teams, good guards, good power forward in Anthony Davis or whatever he's playing. I mean, the guy's just phenomenal. He'll be the best player in the NBA probably within the next 3 years. I mean, he's right there right now. The guy's fantastic. They're going to score a lot of points. I'm going over that 218. Next one up, and the last one up. I looked at this one for a while because this is my numbers play for the day. We got Dallas and San Antonio, and it's 196, and I'm going over. And that seems really high. When we look at their totals they've had this year, head-to-head, they've matched up twice, 96-91. Oddsmakers had it at 186. Next game, so they went over by a point. Then they had it 187.5. They went under, 94-87. And now they went all the way up to 196. I mean, wow. And I think there's reason for that. Dallas has actually been scoring some points. And now recently they've been pushing some tempo, scoring points. They're healthy. They're, looking pretty sharp. But San Antonio is arguably the best defense in the league. So this is a numbers play for me. San Antonio is going to be able to score. But for these two teams, I mean, we haven't seen this high a total. Well, we saw one last year this high. No, they were about this high last year, around this area, 196, 197.5. But in their last matchup last year, it was 187.5, and they went under. So a little bit over their last 3 games, a total not this high. But I think they get there tonight because let's look at the Mavericks. Recently, a few games back, they played the Jazz, similar to style to San Antonio, a team that plays great defense and do not push tempo. Dallas scored 57 points in the second half against them, and then they went to overtime. But they shot 45% from the floor. They shot 35% on their three-point shots. They got up 87 attempts, but that's with overtime, so it's probably closer to 80. We look at the tempo with San Antonio and Dallas in their first couple games, really not that fast. Both teams got around 80 attempts or less. So this is strictly a numbers play where that 196 looks just a bit off. So I'm going to go ahead. I could talk about some more statistics here, but this is really a numbers play. San Antonio is one of the best defensive teams in the league. Dallas, they go really slow. They play good defense, and they don't score a lot of points, 96.7 points per game. That ranks last in the NBA. San Antonio, 107.6. That ranks 8th. But they play such good defense. I'm surprised at this number, so this is a numbers play again for me. I'm going to back the odds makers because this one looks off. I mean, they didn't even shoot for 192. They went right to 196. Very interesting line. This is my numbers play. I'm going over. All right, that's it. Let's break those down one last time. We talked about a lot of other stuff too. And then we're going to get on in a few minutes here. I'm going to go ahead and record my NCAA picks, and then hopefully we'll have some more live segments this week. So be on the lookout for those and be sure to tune in. Those are great. All right, we got just 2 games today, guys. Sunday games. We got Washington, New Orleans over the 218, Dallas, San Antonio over the 196, SBRpicks.com, sportsbook review. You got to check it out, and I wish you guys luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.